I'm Marnie, and I've been obsessed with documentaries.
And I'm Chrissy. I haven't, but I'm giving it a go.
We watch so you don't have to. Or maybe you do, and just want a completely fact-free synopsis.
Expect spoilers and tangents.
Because we're not here to educate.
We trade accuracy for entertainment every time.
This is the Gist Project.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Oh, look at us, ladies.
I know.
Yeah.
We're back in the thing, and it's been a while, been a minute.
Yep.
But it also, what do they say that you can measure time? Time goes by slow, but years go fast?
Something
like that.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And here we are. So, okay. Last week we talked about trying new things, and it's like the question, and it's my turn.
Okay.
And you're going to either know that I gave this a lot of thought or not a lot of thought. But it was something that came to mind, and I thought there's so many ways we can go with this.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What is the weirdest thing you've done with a fish?
Well, I mean, since there's so many options.
Yeah.
No, Marnie, nobody does things with fish.
Have you owned a fish?
No,
Not even like a betta fish in the little...
No, not even that.
Okay.
We would go sun fishing with my grandpa.
Okay.
And he'd take us to the spot, and he'd put some corn on your line, and he'd just dip it in, and all of a sudden we're catching sunfish. Big production, bringing them back to the cabin. And as a 40-something-year-old, I am still only allowed to scale said sunfish. It's a line. It's a
But there's
line.
a procession of people who are involved.
Who are doing this.
Okay.
And so you are the scaler, and then I think you start to kind of fillet and then cut, and then the men fillet.
But is the fish dead?
No.
Wait, you're skinning it alive?
We're scaling it to keep the skin on these little sunfish.
But they're dead.
Some are dead, but some are alive and flop in.
Oh.
So you got to really hold them down and scale them, and you've got scalers. And
why not kill them before you flay them?
I don't know. I think I was always told it didn't hurt.
I don't know.
So
okay.
So anyway,
that is weird.
Is it weird?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's the equivalent of skinning a fish alive.
So that is weird. Yeah. So
yeah,
a little fish torture. That's the weirdest thing I've done.
Just one up everything.
Yeah. And how about you?
Well, I thought about it because I've been thinking a lot about mollusks lately.
Okay.
Which is a story for another time. But it made me think about being I don't know, between 8 and 12. Questionable, gray area of my life. But there was a time when these little baby bullheads would hatch wherever they were. I don't know. But they came in this big school, I guess, and in the shallow part of the water at our cabin. And they would all flutter together, and they were so cute. They were like an inch big, and they were fully formed. And so I caught a group of them.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, now what do I do? So obviously being the capitalist that I am, I thought I can think of no better way to help these fish other than to sell them.
Good idea.
So I got baggies, and I can't imagine what my parents are thinking at this time. Like, wow, what a great idea. But my brilliant idea was, all right, I'm going to truck myself up to the top of the hill because the cabin was down here, and I'm going to sell these.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even in an accessible part of the lake, so nobody was going down the road.
Okay.
So people bought baby bullheads out of sheer pity, but I made like $10.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I made $10 on bottom-dwelling suckerfish.
Yeah.
Because they were babies, and I think who else sells these poor things? Somebody probably bought the whole lot and thought, I'm just going to release these back in the wild because I am torturing them as well.
Yes.
They're in hot baggies of water on a stand in the sun with some,
You're like
pubescent kid.
Darla who found Or I know Darla didn't find Nemo, but Nemo was going to Darla.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was Darla. I was Darla with some bullheads, and there were a bunch of sad Nemos around me. So,
Oh, so we're a bunch of fish torturers.
oh yeah,
The
yeah.
moral of the story.
Gosh,
Oh, well,
Well,
good for us.
it takes a podcast to find out that we've got some work to do on ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe we could join the mob. I don't know.
We could join the mob.
Yeah.
We're here to talk
Maybe
about
they-
scenes of ecstasy.
Maybe they need our grit.
Well, yeah, instead of selling $12 pills of ecstasy, they could have popped for the $1 a bullfish.
Yeah, exactly. And if they didn't, I'll skin them.
Exactly.
That's a little too far.
So you're the Sammy the Bull in this scenario.
I guess.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like where you're going with this. So Sons of Ecstasy is on HBO.
Yep.
And Tile Time. Well, we know that it's a bit more reliable in this
Yes.
case. So I'm going to have you go first, and I'm just going to close my eyes and see if I can visualize what
Okay.
you saw.
So I saw 3 guys.
Okay.
The one in the foreground was smoking a cigarette. He had aviator glasses, a reflection. Again, I didn't walk up there, but was it gold? Was it a skyline? Was it sun? It was a reflection of something.
Yep.
Then there was a guy with some slick back hair, the gold chains, the big watch. He's on one shoulder. And then there's a guy who's bald, kind of just has the button-down shirt. Suit, yes. There's cash in the background, and then there were people dancing. This is called Sons of Ecstasy, so I thought, is this a church cult? or is this a drug thing?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's half. I was right on one. It was a drug thing.
It was a drug
Yeah.
thing. You're right. Okay. So I think we saw the same tile, although I missed the dancing.
There was like lights and like shadows of arms.
Okay. I then, much like any magic eye,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that. I saw a skyline. So when I saw the tile, to me, I saw the reflective glasses as well, and then the hat that made me think of somebody in perhaps Great Britain or the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yes.
You know what? I was thinking actually when I saw it, I thought, you know what? I could add that to my list of women's workwear.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that hat because I think those are cool looking hats. So there's a name for them, but they're folded over.
Fedora?
No, the
No.
fedora has the
yeah.
brim.
Yeah.
We'll think of it.
I know what you're obviously because I saw that.
Yeah, you saw the
Mhm.
tile. So, and that ended up being Sammy the Bull. But so we saw the
Yes.
same tile and the skyline. So I thought, wow, this looks like a British guy. But then looking at the skyline and the cityscape, I thought, where the fuck is this?
Yeah, because you don't generally associate sun
No,
with the UK.
no, not at all. Or any sort of undulation in the background, right?
Yeah.
Because there were some mountains or regions.
Well, in short, this is a documentary about the ecstasy scene in Phoenix.
Who knew that was a thing?
Apparently, and it's two different factions going for the same customer, basically,
Yes.
with a little mob twist.
A little there's a little mobbiness in there. There's
Yeah.
a little UK sprinkled in.
Yeah. So that's what this is about. Like we said, Phoenix, Arizona. Did you catch a year?
I didn't. No, that I never catch anything. But that's usually your bailiwick. But no, I
I'll
didn't.
tell you that I know this. In 1991, Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano, that 1991 is when he faced life in prison, but then he snitched against John Gotti.
Which of all the people to not snitch against, that name rises to the top for me.
Yep.
You know.
So famous mobster Sammy the Bull was his right-hand man.
Yeah.
Associated with 19 kills, deaths, murders.
19, and we know that because he then later referenced that somebody else would have been his 20th had he got his way.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. So you've got the mob part of this. Obviously, Salvatore or Sonny is in Staten Island.
So that's where they were,
Yeah.
but during the documentary, they were in Phoenix. And can we just like sidestep for a hot second?
Mm-hmm.
So Sammy is old,
Yes.
but he looked like he had some work done. Is that a fair thing to say?
I thought he had. It looked like he had either burned his face or had acid thrown on it, or a botched plastic surgery, or yes, he looked different,
like reconstructed almost. In fact, I sadly, and I mean no disrespect to Sammy, I also wrote down Hannibal Lecter. Do you remember that part where the guy in the wheelchair and then he ended up getting eaten by his own hogs?
Yeah.
Where he had that facial disfiguration?
Yeah.
It was a little reminiscent of that, and partly because he wore the glasses
and the hat
and the hat. So it was just kind of like covering his. But then I thought, well, Marty, you're a real asshole because maybe he had the facial disfiguration to remain anonymous or to stay within the witness protection program.
Almost believe it, but he was only in the witness protection program for not that long, right?
7 months.
And he didn't change his name when he moved to Phoenix.
Sure didn't.
And he didn't try to hide. It didn't seem like he was trying to hide.
No.
So he kind of has a big pair of cojones. But he was the right-hand man for a mob boss. So.
Yeah. So as I understand it, Sammy the Bull rats on John Gotti about a murder and series of murders.
Yes.
Gets put in the witness protection program, but his family, for a while, remained in New York.
Yes.
So they were living the life of Sammy the Bull's son, although I would imagine that became soured, and it did, when things went poorly for Gerard, his son, where he was getting death threats. And it was at that time that wife, Debbie, daughter, Karen, and Gerard relocated out of New York, Staten Island, like you said, to Phoenix, which must have been just a culture shock. Can you imagine?
No kidding. Yeah. No, I couldn't imagine. That would be very different.
I mean, that would be different for us. And, and we still live a pretty quiet life.
Yep. Yeah. So they're in Phoenix. Well, first they had to dig up their dad's money in the backyard.
$3 million.
Yeah. Which I always joke that Bobby would like to put money in the backyard. Because he just he's very conservative. You know, when we talk to Eric.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Bobby would like to put the money in the backyard, but I think maybe we should try to grow it.
Well, so in that case,
he's afraid of losing it all.
But would he put it into gold?
Bob? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
We bury it instead.
We're burying it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so anyways, Sammy did serve 5 years in prison, but then he eventually reunites with his family because he was supposed to be in witness protection for 2 years, I thought.
Right, which doesn't seem like long enough.
No,
it doesn't seem like long enough when it comes to the mob. I feel like it's one of those things where, like, once you cross a line, always in a target, or you're always on someone's list.
Isn't that part of like your Cosa Nostra?
What does that mean? I didn't Google it.
I didn't either.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I don't feel like my mob reference is up to date at all.
Okay.
I still think they're like pretend things. But clearly this was a real... No, I mean, I know it's there. They exist.
Yeah.
But
it's just so outside of...
They exist in movies and in The Sopranos.
Well, according to our other, I guess we could say, antagonist, protagonist, I'm not sure how we want to characterize these people, but Sean, English Sean, who is the other person here. So there's Sammy the Bull, Karen, and Gerard on one side of our soon-to-be building Ecstasy empire. Then we have Sean, the English Sean. English Sean grew up in Liverpool, Liverpudlian, as they say. That's my favorite. Affected by his accent, as you can hear. He mentioned that he was just a nerd, but then he had a case of mobality. I wrote it down somewhere.
Okay.
But that he had a case of it. No, gangsteritis. Gangsteritis is what it had. So I think you're onto something in the sense where this lifestyle, this mentality, this way of existing is something that we just just kind of think it exists in movies, and people don't
We
really.
do. We do.
We do, but
Yeah.
we also don't live in Staten Island, nor are we Italian
Right.
or have any ties. I mean, anybody also Italian, don't mix Italian with Sicilian. I've made that mistake.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
So write that down in
Yeah.
your list of things as you're growing your, mob lexicon.
Yes. Mike Papa joins
He does.
Gerard's side. So Mike Papa's in college.
For med school, and he drops us
that's
like
true.
$1,000. What was the point of giving Gerard $1,000? Like, if I met you and I was like, here you go.
You're right. That story did not make sense to me
No.
until the end, where Gerard was like, that was like the bait.
So did you wonder if he knew that he was in trouble or financially?
Was Mike Papa doing that to flip on him when he got, if they got in trouble? I have no
That would be, that's a chess game. That would be he thinking to checkmate, when I just think they were some 20-somethings wanting to get rich quick and pop bottles. And live the life. So he's got like this bankroll, and maybe he knows that Gerard is Sammy the Bull's son. So maybe that's his one chess move, where he's like, I'm going to bait this guy, show him what a high roller I am, when in actuality, maybe he got it from grandma. Maybe he got it from Bobby's underground stash.
Exactly. Dug
you guys
it up.
better watch where you bury your money.
Well, it's not buried yet.
Okay.
Erica keeps convincing us to invest in invest in retirement.
What a concept, right?
So
Mike Papa comes on the scene, and he essentially says, here's $1,000, let's go out and party.
And they do.
And they also find ecstasy. And then they turn around and sell it.
Yep. And Karen finds out and tells Sammy.
Well, yeah, she tells Daddy, because this means that the two, and I'm going to call them boys, because at this point they're like 22. They're still boys.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry, like until you're maybe 50, remain. Yeah, exactly. Mushy as we
not developed. Yeah.
So she tells Sammy the Bull, and he kind of flips out. He's like,
big time.
Not drugs. I guess it's okay to murder, but not drugs.
Well, they did. Okay, so they did a little bit of flashback here.
Yeah.
Which Sammy bought a farm when they lived in New York and when his kids were young, and he brought them out there. And, so he wanted something different, is my interpretation of this.
Yes.
He didn't want his kids to come into this lifestyle. And he's also really, really proud he's never dealt drugs. He's never sold drugs.
I would agree. I mean,
so this, having Gerard be a drug seller, was upsetting.
Well, as we think back to our best friend, O-Dog, there's a little bit of a drug kingpin in all of us.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's just maybe a little bit of mobster in all of us. In the case of Sammy, he just like compartmentalized that pretty darn well.
Yeah.
Like farm life over here, at home when I'm having my mob life, the extent of my farm is our pigeon coop.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
He did a good job of separating work and play.
Well, and the way that he identified whether or not his son was worthy of the worthy, maybe that's the wrong terminology, but eligible for the lifestyle would be, he shot one of the gray pigeons, which apparently was not welcome in their dove coop. And when it didn't die, Sammy said, hey, you can't shoot it again. You need to snap its neck, which is terrible. I hate thinking about that, but Gerard didn't want to do that, so he wasn't invited into the family, as they say.
Yeah, as a fish torturer, I think I could bring it.
As a fellow fish torturer, remember, I cooked mine alive.
One step away.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Gerard's like, whatever, Dad. Then he heads to New York to get 30,000 pills of ecstasy, I think.
Yes.
And we should say, this is like, I know we didn't say the year and we'll figure it out maybe, but remember when ecstasy was huge?
Yes. In the late 90s, early 2000s. Maybe that's when we started to become.
But I think that's when it was big.
What, you think so?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've never done it, but I do recall the pacifiers.
Oh,
okay. Glow sticks.
Yes.
Pacifiers that the raves, the music that accompanied yes, the
Yes.
dance, the following your arms dancing. Yeah.
I mean, you would think that would be probably pretty liberating.
Oh yes, I'm sure it would, which is why I would never enjoy it. I mean, it
You
just
never let it fly.
nope, nope. I would lose too much control. But I recall this, right?
Yes.
You recall this. We
sure-
know what this is like.
I sure do. And they capitalized on it. So they mentioned that they got the pills for like $200 to $250, and then they made $90,000 in a week.
Yes.
I mean, that's a pretty good return.
Yes. Then I think that's what they wanted to do then, but they realized there was already a lot of pills
Oh yeah.
in Phoenix.
Yeah, English Sean had that market.
English Sean, he got these pills and he had a network of like 200 people
Yeah.
that would sell pills, and his right-hand man was Schooley.
So, as I understand it, Sean had the market so inundated and flooded. Gerard and Mike Papa are the equivalent of you and I coming into the podcast community and thinking, let's go big. Let's go big. You know what I mean? Like, so
watch out, Joe.
Exactly. Watch out, Joe Rogan. And in fact, the offer is still out there if you want to talk. I just thought I would plug that for him. But so English Sean had it locked down. He had the rave scene, and that was where the majority of these people were consuming it, to your point about wavy, flaily arm and glow sticks and body painting. And it was quite a party. And quite honestly, the mobster thug life didn't necessarily fit into that.
No, English Sean is a smart person, right?
He is.
Came over here after graduating.
He said he took his last exam coming down from a rave and aced it.
He comes over here with his school credit cards, whatever that means.
Yep.
And he did, in 1996, he was the top producer at his job, right?
At his penny stock.
A stockbroker.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so he started in penny stocks and quickly grew.
Making commissions $500,000.
Yeah, not bad for a kid in his 20s.
Yeah, and then he got burnt out.
So
what do you do when you burn out?
Drugs.
Ecstasy.
Drugs.
So he started dealing these pills. Did they say how he got actually into it? He was just the dude selling it.
So the way he got into it was when he was back in the UK and interested in the scene, when the rave, I think they called it acid music, was on the rise. It came from the UK. I mean,
yes,
I won't go into the origins of music and thumpiness and what culture that comes from. That's not for me to say. However, he gets into it there, remembers it very fondly, and that was his escape mechanism when he was penny stock man making massive bankroll in his corporate job, right?
Yeah.
He found somebody to provide the supplies in California.
That's right.
And that's where he met Schooley.
Yeah.
So Schooley was somehow associated. And I think with Schooley, he said, no one trusts you, but I'm going to trust you. I'm going to believe in you. I'm going to help you clean up, and I'm going to give you a job.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fuck me over.
Big brother, little brother.
Big brother, little brother.
Yes.
And I think for many years, this worked out quite well. So the way that English Sean locked down the Phoenix market was essentially identifying that the rave scene was immature. And if he could find a way to bring what he knew to be true back in and capitalize on it, he was going to do it.
And he did, because he bought the pills for $12 and sold them for $25 to $30.
Yeah.
So that is quite a profit.
$100K in a weekend, he said.
Meanwhile, ecstasy use in teens was up 71%, according to the national news. And then I just loved this. James Cope, he's in a task force or something.
Yeah.
Got police into the high school.
He did.
21 Jump Street.
Yes.
So there was 2 officers who went undercover as teens, Matt and Rose.
Rose wanted to be a Charlie's Angel. Yes. So she was very interested in coloring her hair.
Yeah. So they did that.
I picture you as a little bit of Rose, like where it's like you don't want to necessarily do the rave,
but you'll be there.
But you'll go there and you won't let yourself take the ecstasy, but you'll pretend, or you'll not pretend, but you'll participate, but safely.
Exactly.
How about that?
Exactly. And you'd be English Sean.
I would be English Sean, absolutely cooked out of my mind, flailing around trying to make an empire of it. You are 100% right.
So the agents had found the raves, went to the ice house. This is where they are.
Yeah, they're hip to this shit.
They've seen English Sean and they've seen Mike Papa. They must follow them for a long time.
Yeah, the timeline is a bit fuzzy because
they didn't arrest them or anything.
No. And in fact, there was enough time where this started pre 9/11.
Yep.
Because Schooley was talking about how he made 75 to 85 trips to LA. And so he's flying back and forth. And he said that he was strapping it all over himself. As long as it didn't have to go through the X-ray machine, it was fine.
Yeah.
So I'm sure just like O-Dog, maybe he put it in the keister.
Exactly.
Right? Like found spots for those pills.
Not in it.
Not right. But just around it.
Yeah.
And that also meant that they were able to start muling from Amsterdam.
Yeah. Well, I feel like once Gerard came on the scene, English Sean felt like he has got to step it up.
Yeah.
So then, hence Amsterdam.
Well, someone had the red and white pills. Were those Sean's or were those Gerard's?
Good idea.
Good question. Somebody introduced these new colored pills. I think it was Gerard because English Sean said, wait a minute. And my notes go straight to pre-9/11 security Jenko jeans.
Well, this is it. Gerard needed $150,000 per buy.
Oh.
To get those red and white pills from LA.
Okay.
Sammy said, I will fund 4 buys. That's it. Then you're done.
Which, do you believe that?
Well, he seemed like a tough parent.
He did. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of like there's a little devil in all of us.
Well, ask Nora what her screen time is. I say words. Parents tend to be a little bit more lenient, I think, sometimes.
Yes.
So you're set up for your 4 big deals.
Right.
Funded by Dad.
Get it done with.
Yep.
Get it done with. And Sammy said, drugs bring on heat or people, 2 things you don't want.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. So, which is what happened.
Mm.
So they're tailing English Sean, they're tailing Mike Papa, and lo and behold, they go to the Marathon Construction and they spot Sammy the Bull.
Yep. And that's when, and this is where I actually turned to Jeff and I was like, wait, can they just throw listening devices in without? They bugged him. And he's like, maybe they had a warrant. And I thought, I think they do need a warrant. Like, you need to have something. I don't think you can just go on a hunch just because somebody's a former gangster.
Right. But a way to get a warrant is through a judge, and you have to have probable cause, is how I understand our justice system.
Yeah. This is why you're one day going to have the badge. Remember when we went back to PI Moms and going to get the vests and everything, and you could read the Miranda rights?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, somehow there must have been a warrant because his phone is bugged.
Right.
And then they just start listening to this.
And also, while this is going on, so while Charlie's Angels is going in there pretending to flail around, and we've got Cope, Gerard and Mike Pappas want to confront Sean.
Yes, because they need to take over the market.
Right. So and Sean will not meet with him. So instead of meeting together or solving this amicably, they're going to kill him instead.
Good idea.
Right. And Gerard said that I was fully prepared to kill him and bury him in the desert.
I wrote that down as well. Yeah. Well, because Gerard sold about 10,000 pills a week. And English Sean sold about 140,000 pills a week.
I guess, all right. I know we all, in some way, shape, or form, more money is better, right? But isn't that enough? Like, what if you are just kind of making enough?
Well, could you get together and say like, you know what? Yeah, I'll sell 75,000 pills a week, and you sell 75,000 pills a week.
Right.
How big is the population of Phoenix?
Well, that's just
How
it.
many ecstasy pills do you take at? Is it a one dose, and does it last 4 hours, 8 hours? I don't know the answers to these, but that seems like quite a bit.
Well,
of
and
pills.
the other thought would be like, all right, so how do you feel about us going together? And then let's also hit New Mexico. Let's get together and think more broadly.
Yeah, so they're not doing
They're not doing that. And so
Nope.
they're like, let's kill each other. And English Sean gets worried, and there have been kerfuffles, and he brings over Wild Man.
Yeah. Let me just reverse one to the business proposal that Gerard was thinking.
Oh yeah.
He was gonna threaten to tax the sales 50%. Okay.
I'd love to know how he's going to enforce that.
The ecstasy tariff.
because you are making it and I'm not. I mean,
Yes,
like that was
I know.
kind of asinine.
Yeah. I mean, you could say like my dad's the mob boss.
Right.
So for so long, right? Until people are like, okay, yeah, right, Gerard.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't even tell because I don't recognize his face.
Yes, exactly. But yes, okay, Wild Man comes in.
He does.
Sean's friend from across the pond.
He's the muscle.
Yep.
He's the muscle who's going to make Sean feel more comfortable in this heightened state of anxiety. So,
Yeah.
and it seems like this is not unique to Sean either. It seems like Gerard is starting to like feel the pressure, anxiety, and overwhelming fear, I guess. They're both sensing it. They're both feeling it. And you can only imagine they're probably both, well, we know Sean was using. He
Yes.
said it. I don't
Yeah.
know if Gerard necessarily mentioned if he used or not.
I don't think he said it.
Okay. It's probably a fair assumption that there was some sort of substance use.
Yeah.
So they're not in their right minds. So we've got Mike Papa pulling in some muscle or the threat of mob violence. And then, of course, you've got English Sean with Wild Man and Wild Woman.
Yes. And Schoolie.
And Schoolie, although I don't think Schoolie was the muscle.
No, not one bit.
Okay.
No. He seemed tenderhearted.
He did seem tenderhearted.
Just seemed like maybe
He had a rough go
yes.
with life. And this guy gave him a second opportunity and then kind of took it away. Although it was pretty fuzzy as to how their relationship dissolved.
It was. And I feel like Sean says that like he was really getting anxious.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of left. And so maybe he just ghosted everybody, Schoolie included.
Could be. There could be some emotional detachment going on.
Sean's business dried up. I mean, he just was afraid, it sounded like, which reasonable. He heard he had a $10,000 hit on him.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd make you a little bit squirrely,
that
probably.
would suck.
Yeah, and then you've just got, I don't know, he left, Schoolie's there, Wildman and Wild Woman was the problem.
Right.
His girlfriend, she was like selling out of the house and there was so much traffic and
yeah, that's kind of like drug dealing a 101 no. Like you
Yes.
kind of don't set up for people to buy from a residence or from a regular place, I think. I mean, I'm not an expert in this, but that would be my hunch.
Yeah.
Like, don't be the place that somebody could track and watch people come and go.
Nope.
Right?
And there was a lot. So then Schoolie threw a smoke bomb into her apartment, which I thought was different.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to achieve by that. I have a small tangent for you. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually happened to know of Sean and his enterprise before this documentary. Not surprising that I would be in on some sort of like, where true crime thing.
Yeah.
However, it came from another podcast. There's a guy named Julian who has I was involved in or something to that.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah.
really cool. It's an interesting podcast where it's like essentially showcases the life or situation of a person who was a part of something unique or groundbreaking, earth-shattering, that sort of thing. And it was the story of Sean Atwood. I listened to it this summer. So I think this documentary came out last year in 2024.
Okay.
So, but when it was made and et cetera, doesn't really matter, but it came out in 2024. This podcast aired this summer. So, what it was like is, I think, the name of the podcast. Anyways, Sean's story is told end to end in the podcast. And so when we started watching this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Sean.
Yeah.
The English Sean. Of course, how many Englishmen are bringing over ecstasy in some sort of enterprise trade? So thanks for allowing me the tangent. The net of that story is, while poor English Sean is on the downstroke and wild woman coming in and everything unwinding around him, spoiler, they all serve time. And Sean describes his time in prison. It was horrible. Like cockroaches crawling in his ears.
Oh my God.
Like up and down his legs, and like needing to like ball up bits of fabric.
My gosh.
I mean, it is yeah, I know. I'm telling you, like what he described. So like the underbelly of their prison time. And we come to find out, like, he'll meet up there. Like, so it must have been a mutual experience of horrible circumstances.
Wasn't it Sheriff Joe Arpaio was the whatever? Yeah, that was a different thing too. Yeah, he did serve some time in prison.
Yeah.
The phone was bugged, and I think Sammy must have a sixth sense, because remember there was a phone call with a little bit of financial conversation going on, and then Karen said Sammy's like, everybody outside.
Well, so so they tapped the phone, and during the wiretap, he had called his ex-wife saying, "You're short 5."
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's not. There's 70. He's like, no, there's 65. And if you didn't know the context of the conversation, you'd be like, huh? But in this case, it's like 70,000. You gave me 65,000.
Yep.
And then it was, there was a drill. So he must have uncovered the wiretap.
Yeah.
So sixth sense or paranoia, I would imagine one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then he pulled people out and essentially said, all right, nothing over lines. Get rid of everything.
Finish everything you're doing.
Yeah, we're done with this because there's no turning back.
Yeah. And then the SWAT team came.
Can we talk about his prone position also?
Yeah.
And how he described it, because I can relate.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So So Gerard is getting paranoid and anxious.
Yep.
Sean is getting paranoid and anxious. Everybody's going down in a blaze of glory, right?
Yes.
And the cops bust in on Sammy the Bull.
Like 200.
Like 1,000 million people.
Yeah.
And he said that the way that he knew is he was sleeping in bed and his little dog was between his legs and he started growling. Guess who sleeps between my legs every single night?
I thought you were going to tell a story of when the SWAT came in and ended up prone.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I'm glad that's not the case. No, I've got the SWAT living with me, thankfully, so that we're protected.
You've got your SWAT alarm.
I've got the SWAT alarm over here. And then, of course, between me, I've got my own, always in some way, shape, or form, unless he's over there on your couch.
Well, yeah.
But that's how he was alerted to this massive raid of 200 people. You're right.
It's his little dog.
Yep.
Yeah. So they just really, once they saw Sammy, it was almost game over. They really, really wanted him.
Yep.
Because he was notorious, mobster. He's in Phoenix. They wanted him. They got him.
Well, and I think it was, as they said, egg on their face.
Yeah.
Like, here they let him go.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of the program. He served his time for the rolling on Gotti and for the murders, et cetera. But they gave him a second chance. And then, according to the law, so I guess there are rules in the mob, and then there are rules when you break the law, when you get a second chance. And that is, don't break the law again, right? So
exactly.
So Sammy took the heat. He took the fall.
He did, and he took 20 years.
A 20-year fall.
Yes. Karen got probation.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was so funny was that Sammy was really disgusted the way Mike Papa just rolled over.
Yeah, right.
You gotta shake
Coming
it in
from
the
him.
balls a little bit.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, probably.
That was
Yeah.
the person who he said would have been his 20th murder.
Yes.
Was this guy.
Yes.
I mean, because he rolled on a drug thing versus killing people. I don't know. I mean, the lines are a little blurry in terms of his moral compass. But yeah, so you're right. And Gerard was facing 40 years.
Yeah.
But that's why Sammy took the heat, got 20. Mike served, what, 5? Question mark.
Yeah.
Question mark. Sean got 9. Wild Man had 12.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I think Wild Man, and this is in the podcast, I think Wild Man did a little bit more than just, provide reactive muscle.
I think so, too.
I think he was a little bit more wild, as would be Wild Woman. But tell our listeners what happened when Sean and Gerard were in prison.
They were prison mates. They were. How did they let that happen?
I don't know.
Didn't they know there was some sort of connection
or beef?
But I wish. Did they form a bond?
They formed a friendship against all odds.
Yeah.
Because Sean essentially said, "Hey, man, I really didn't want to kill you after all. I just felt like I needed to keep up the facade."
They all actually seemed like not bad people.
No, you're right.
Like these interviews, it's like, oh, well, maybe you took a wrong turn.
Right.
I mean, Gerard was kind of like mob-ish, wannabe.
In the beginning, you kind of got the sense that he espoused that.
Yeah, or thought he should be.
Right.
Yeah.
And played the part.
Mm-hmm.
And then when in reality, he's like, actually, I just want to hug.
Yeah.
I just want to do whatever I need to do.
They're all out now.
They are.
They serve their time. They're out
getting plastic surgery.
It looks like they learned their lesson. Schooley got no charges. He rolled over.
He did. And Schooley also, similar to our non-friend Ray, had loyalty. And in the same font, I might add.
Yeah.
Similar font. I mean, it was a bit more curly Q, but somewhat English style loyalty on his arm. And I think they called him out on it. Like, do you believe in that? And were you loyal to Sean? And he's like, absolutely. Till the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Until I wasn't.
You're right. So, I mean, they all served their time. If you want more information, the What It Was Like podcast is a great way to hear Sean's story. Definitely one to listen to.
Yes.
What would you put on a t-shirt?
Well, it's not true, but maybe something like Raven became my religion.
Ooh.
Sean said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I'm going to go with a little bit of gangsteritis.
Oh, I like that.
Because I can see it. Why not?
Yep.
I mean, it was entertaining. It was a good way to spend an hour and a half.
Not bad.
Anything else you'd share with our loving audience?
Don't do ecstasy. I don't think you should go raving, I guess.
Yeah, don't,
kids.
Unless you want to pretend to do it, then be a Charlie's Angel.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And also,
that's a great idea.
Don't join the mob because you might regret
the mob. Yep. It's not all movies and TV shows.
Yeah, it's all glitz and glamour till you end up in the slammer. That one's never going to leave our back to O-Dog.
Exactly. Thank you, O-Dog.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I guess that's the gist of the Sons of Ecstasy.
That's the gist of that.
All right. Talk to you later, Moon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. You may have picked up on a fact or two.
Or just convinced yourself you did.
Either way, that's the Gist Project. Never educational, but always entertaining.